Kinsey got actually put a big old
Whoa, how'd you do that?
I'm on my laptop, and if you go to like the bottom like gray bar, you can go to reactions and you can either clap your hands or give a thumbs up. Yep.
And now we're blowing minds. Everybody's giving thumbs up and clapping. Okay. All right, well, we are going to go on to, I think, Janine, you're up. Yeah? Nope. Tammy, you're up.
No, we have Tammy first.
Yeah, it's me first. So there had been a couple questions about how long we're going to be doing this, and this part of it in conjunction with the coalition, we're going to be doing this through May 29th. So that's what our agreement is. We'll be doing that through May 29th. We don't know what's coming next, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know.
Okay. Any questions on that? Or anything that you guys need to kind of have before we move forward on that? Okay.
So.
All right. I am going to share my screen with everyone. Oh no, where'd my stuff go? Give me a moment, sorry. It's me and my trying to figure out how to host one of these. Okay, we're on. Can everybody see that?
Yeah, basically.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm on with this one. So I'm just going to kind of go over the recreation. It says recreation instructor responsibilities, but basically this is for everybody, team lead and other. So I just wanted to kind of go over and touch base on all these different things. Some of you guys have seen this, repeatedly. Maybe some of you haven't seen this at all. But it's just to go over all the different responsibilities that we require for this type of program. So the first one is, instructing children ages 5 to 14. We did increase our age limit. It was 12. We've moved it up to 14 because we've gotten requests from parents that have younger siblings that are in the program. And then, so we are encouraging, like Johnson has one like that. They have a younger sibling and then the older sibling came in. We also had some requests that we lost just because we had like maybe a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old that we couldn't take. So we did expand that to 14 to support families in that. Anyway, instruct children of those ages in sports and wellness, arts and culture, academics, community engagement, and other recreational activities while doing your social distancing and masks and such like that. You must wear a Denver Parks and Recreation uniform, ID badge, mask, and closed-toed shoes at all times. We do ask for the closed-toed shoes simply because when you're in your activities and things like that, and you're in sandals or whatever, you can turn your ankle, you could trip, if you're outside, just so many things could happen, and that would be a workman's comp. So we just are asking everybody to be in closed-toe shoes at all times. Complete a wellness check at the beginning of each shift after you have clocked into Kronos. So that is the document that you do electronically, and then we do the temperature check and all that stuff at the beginning of your shifts. So that's whether you're in the morning or in the afternoon. During program hours, personal cell phone use is prohibited. Basically, exceptions need approval from coordinators. Now, why we say prohibited is because we're licensed childcare. And so when you're on your phone talking to somebody or texting or whatever, it takes your attention away from the kids. And that's your main priority on the job. And so if something were to happen to a child at that time, during the time that you were on your phone, that would not go over well with for management and that type of thing. So we are just asking, or not asking, but basically saying that personal cell phone use is prohibited. So if for whatever reason you're expecting a phone call because there's some kind of family something or other, you need to talk to your coordinator first to inform them of what your situation is, and so you can discuss what that looks like. Staff is expected to take charge, maintain discipline, and provide a safe environment for all participants, including social distancing between staff and children. So Everybody's been talking about the noodles, so I'm assuming you know the noodles are for the social distancing, things like that. But we need to make sure that at all times we are thinking about that social distancing, what that looks like between both staff and child and staff to staff as well, and children to children. And I know sometimes with the kids, they don't get that, they forget, you know, all these things, different things come up. So it's more of really just working with your kiddos to really teach them the why behind it, instead of saying, hey, you're just supposed to maintain your distance. Okay, because if they don't understand the why, most likely they're not going to be interested in doing the social distancing for you. Let's see here, complete lesson plans, discipline incident reports, accident reports, Chronos in at appropriate times. This is mainly for childcare staff, because cleaners at this point in time, if you're cleaning the buildings and that type of thing, you're not required to do lesson plans and all that different stuff. Completing the cleaning checklist within scheduled shift and maintain safety guidelines and Chronos in appropriate times. Now that's for the cleaning staff that you need to adhere to. Number 8, communicate effectively with parents, participants, parents, coworkers, and recreational personnel while on site. Just make sure you're keeping parents in the loop, that type of thing. If it's more of you need to send a text, make sure you're keeping your distance if they're picking them up, and you can have communication at that point in time, or maybe it's a phone call later or email, that type of thing. Okay. Melissa, can you scroll up, please? Because we're on 8. Perfect. Attend all staff meetings. All are mandatory, so things like this. Everybody must be certified in first aid, CPR, and AED, and standard precautions. Maintain positive public relations at all times. So remember, you are the face of Denver Parks and Recreation, so make sure you're portraying the aspect of good customer service and that type of thing, because you don't want to possibly having conversations about what else is going on that might be, you know, what we call it is backstage, that people don't necessarily need to know about. Keep that backstage. That shouldn't be at work. Make sure that what we're talking about at work and what everybody else is overhearing is work related, and it is not something that people should not be hearing. Let's see here. Maintain a 1 to 10 adults to child ratio at all times. Children must be directly supervised at all times by the childcare staff. Childcare and departmental policies regarding site management, behavior management, and safety must be maintained at all times. And then finally, the child abuse and neglect policy is basically just the fact that you understand that you are, if a child tells you something that is questionable as far as you may think that they might be abused or neglect or things like that, it is your obligation to report that yourself, because it's the hotline that's listed on there that you need to make sure that you're contacting. You need to make sure you get all the facts before you call that hotline. So it's not your feelings behind it. It's more of, this is what the child said to me, or this is what I witnessed, or that type of thing that you need to be relating over. They will probably ask you for the child's name, parents' information, contact information for the parents, possible address, age group, or ages and stuff like that. But it is your responsibility to make that call, because you were the person who was directly informed or saw whatever it was that you thought needed to be reported. So far, before I move on, is there any questions regarding any of those responsibilities that I can answer?
My CPR certification is going to expire soon. Do you guys have classes to where I could renew it?
At that point, we're going to have to look into what CPR classes needs to look like at this point in time. I know that Red Cross
Mm-hmm.
has put in like a buffer as far as expiration dates because they have been trying to figure out what CPR classes need to look like, and they've had some what is it, blended learning and things like that. So the answer to your question, no, we don't have anything set up us personally yet, but we can look into what might be offered out there that has a blended learning type thing where you can do some of it on the computer, and then whatever Red Cross is saying needs to happen as far as the skills are concerned, because I don't even know sure what that would need to look like. When does yours expire, Kenzie?
In August.
Oh, well, we got some time.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. Okay, great. Thank you for that information.
Mine expires in June, I'm pretty sure. So
Okay. Okay.
we'll need that too.
Okay. Anybody else?
I know they're moving towards some kind of Zoom thing so they can actually see you do some of the practices. So that blended thing is a real thing, and I do believe it's happening soon.
Right. I knew the blended was happening. I just didn't know what they were doing with the skills behind it. So, all right. All right. Nobody else has any other questions? Then I will move on to the next part. So the next one is a memo actually from Governor Polis. And so this is things that we've been relaying back over to you and things like that. This is not something that's coming from us that we just decided this is what's going to happen. So basically, Governor Polis, he on the 17th of April said that anybody that's critical business needs to be wearing face covering, so any kind of mask. Ours are going to be, obviously they don't want us wearing the 95s because those need to be reserved for medical personnel, things like that. But we need to be wearing either cloth masks that have been made, or like the disposable surgical masks, things like that while you're at work. And especially if within childcare, because it says therefore cloth face coverings are now required for all childcare workers, park patrollers, park rangers, golf employees, et cetera, et cetera. You need to make sure, because I mean, we understand, especially working with kids, we got the 16, that would be interesting, 16 feet distancing. The 6 foot distancing or less happens with kids. So you need to make sure that not only are you as staff people wearing the masks, but the kids are wearing the masks. And I know that sometimes kids aren't really, I mean, it's itchy, it's something that's on their face, they don't like it. Really just work with your kids and your staff. Staff need to model the wearing the masks. So if you're asking kids to wear the mask and the staff are not wearing the masks, you know, that's a hard sell right there, because you need to model what you're asking of your children at your site. So when are you guys sending me pictures and things like that that I need to send on to upper management? Because they're always asking for some kind of pictures of what you're doing, how you're working with the kids, engaged in programs and stuff like that. If they're not wearing masks, you know, that's not something I can move forward, you know, because we are supposed to be wearing masks at all times. And it's to keep, and you understand that the wearing of masks is helping others, like keeping others safe from you. And so that everybody else needs to do the same for each other. So it's just keeping everybody safe by wearing a mask when you're at work. So please arrive to work, your work assignment with a mask. Okay, so hopefully everybody has, masks. So we're also asking for, yes, you have to wear this at home, but we're also asking you guys for when you're at home, off the clock, things like that, to maintain your social distancing and wearing your masks when you're out and things like that. Simply because if you're not staying safe in your personal life, you could be bringing things back to work and exposing others in your workplace. And so that's why we're really asking you all that stuff. So on that point, does anybody have any questions about the order? Okay. Melissa, if you could scroll that.
Did you, Janine?
Yep.
Did you see my note where it said that Mayor Hancock?
Yeah, nope, I didn't see it.
Sorry, I'm getting there. I was going to say, so Janine and everybody else, just so you know, starting here, so after the 8th, which I think is going to be a little bit more, but Juanita, you're saying that on the news and on quite a few other platforms at this point in time, Mayor Hancock is actually going to mandate a mask be worn when you are out in public. And so they're going along the lines of what Boulder and like Aspen and Wheat Ridge, there are a lot of other counties that are mandating a mask. There are some of those counties that are actually like giving out citations. But eventually what is going to happen is that there is talks in the work that he is going to mandate everybody wearing a mask when you are out in public.
Okay. Which is great. I see this one, Alan. Should we get masks with DPR logos on them? Probably not at this time because that would be an expense that I don't think the city is really willing to take care of right now for that marketing piece. So, but good idea. All right, Melissa, could you scroll?
Alan, if you would like, you can decorate your mask that we gave you.
Absolutely. It's just if you have like permanent marker and it ends up getting your nose discolored. All right, thank you. Okay, so this last section is more about going a little deeper into some of the expectations that I talked about earlier. So appropriate work attire. All employees must wear the DPR logoed shirts. And so where's Joseph? Joseph has like a hat and the logo and all kinds of things. He's all decked out this morning. So thank you for that. And you also need to, like I said, wear a mask while you're at site at all times. Please dress appropriately to avoid being sent home without pay to change. So that's the other thing. If for some reason somebody's coming to work and they're not in appropriate dress, that type of thing, you will need to go change. Like that is the expectation, that you need to be in logoed attire, you need to be in your, you need to be wearing your name tag, and you need to be wearing closed-toed shoes and the mask. Okay? Now, as it gets nicer outside and people are wanting to wear shorts and things like that, totally fine. But as far as length is concerned, we do not want the super short shorts. We don't want to see things that we shouldn't be seeing on other people's bodies at this point in time. So please make sure that the shorts are long enough and they're not, they're tall enough, so when people are bending over, we're not seeing more than we need to be seeing. Let's see here, skirts, open-toed shoes, really, really super tight clothing should not be worn, okay? Especially offensive items that might have offensive language or pictures, things of that nature, okay? The cell phone and electronic use, as I said earlier, cell phone use is prohibited unless the program emergency occurs. So there's incidents where you can use your cell phone at site if it's program related. So obviously if there's an emergency and the best way to communicate is via cell phone because people are separated, that type of thing, by all means, you can use that as something to, you know, a tool to use to communicate. If you're using it for doing some, if you're putting like videos onto the TV screen for activities and things like that, and you're pulling it off of your phone, you can do that. Obviously, we would prefer you using the iPads that are at site because those are city-issued items. But or if you're playing music in the program to lighten the mood, things like that, just making sure it's appropriate language in your music and things like that. But as far as actually just texting and calling, that is something that we're not advocating at site at all. Like, we do not want to see it. So before I move on, is there any questions about those? I haven't been looking at chats either.
Nope,
So.
I think we're good. It's all
Okay.
everybody talking about the masks, and I was just telling them that if they didn't know, Polis has put out a request to decorate paper masks to submit something to put in the time capsule. So there's a contest going on. So just things that are generating on the side.
Okay. All right.
Is there a like template for that mask to decorate?
I don't think there is, but I'm sure that you could just kind of like make one and then just have the kids decorate that.
No, wait a minute. Back when, what, as somebody else as Stephen goes into his next thing after me, I have notes. There was a website for that. So Tiffany, I'll look that up while I'm done talking, and I can actually focus on this and look it up because there was a website for the mask contest that I have written down. Okay, so I'll get that to you. Let's see here. So at the end of this, it's basically signing below. We'll have this out to all of you guys. You'll just go ahead and sign this. Signing this acknowledges that you received this. We went over it. You understand all the information I just went over. If for whatever reason these are not adhered to, progressive discipline may be included or may happen. So that could be a warning. That could be, you know, documentation that goes into your staff file with us. Depending on how severe it is, you know, it could be dismissal from a day of work. It could be suspension from your assignment up to termination. I don't foresee things like this happening, but I just wanted to let you know that the progressive disciplinary action will be put into play if these things are not adhered to. So if there's no more questions, that wraps up my piece of it. And then we can move.
Just so you guys all know, all of these will be printed and they will be at site on Monday for you guys to sign. Perfecto. Okay, so I'm gonna take me out of share here. So a couple of things, we are going to kind of go over and address some of the things that we saw on the requests that you guys, when I had asked for the May and the June dates, there were some comments and some like suggestions that people had made. And so Stephen's going to go over some of those. Stephen, would you like me to just read them to you and then you address them, or do you have a list of them?
I got a list.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. So on there, we had saw that there was some feedback on getting another order date. And so we are going to go ahead and do that. So orders will be kind of structured similarly to like summer and after school time. So it'll be every other week. Our first order will be May 8th. It's a Friday, next Friday, I believe it is. And then you can pick up the materials from that order probably on the 15th. And then probably your coordinator will come and grab that and bring it to your center. And the second order, of course, will be the 22nd, but then we'll be out of program by then. Maybe, we'll see, as we learn more about the summer. If it's not over, then of course it will continue to be every other week. Things that we can order are things that we don't have a community rec. So when you are doing your planning and your ordering, we're trying to utilize the materials that we have available already. Glenn has a lovely little inventory sheet that we're looking at. If you don't have those, then we can probably get those to you. And try your hardest, absolute hardest, to use materials that we have already to save a little money, because of course we all know money is going to be very tight. And if there is something that we need to order, then of course, then we'll go ahead and do that, but it probably need to be approved first so that we're making sure we're not going crazy with it. Things we can't order, we cannot do food crafts, still can't do food. However, there was a lovely activity going on at Central where I do believe they made orange juice from leftover oranges. So if you're using the food that's already there, like the fruit, I'd say I don't see an issue with that. Just making sure that you're watching the cleaning and the sanitary needs of that. And then of course, allergies, any allergies for that. Things that are harmless to do is of course, orange juice. Maybe you could do like apples, something, I don't know. I use mine apples to make a thing, but that's different.
Even I think even with that orange juice, I think they made orange juice popsicles as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That was kind of like another thing that could happen.
Yes. So there's, think outside the box and look at that to see what can be done. There's plenty you can, I think, do with that. Even like science experiments. Another one is how to keep track of like schedules and calendars and that communication between your AM and PM shift. So Tammy has a wonderful like little picture behind her. You can kind of, oh, no, that's not it actually. But there's a picture she showed with us. I actually have it on my screen. I'm not sure if I can share my screen to show you, but I pulled it up. If I click this button, or Tammy's gonna get it. Aha, Tammy's gonna get it. And it's a lovely way to kind of blow up the schedule and show who is planning what for different shifts. That way your morning shift isn't maybe planning something that the afternoon shift is planning, or vice versa. Yeah, so it's a big old laid out schedule, and the sticky notes represent the activities within that time block. I think Melissa was saying she was gonna have that at her site. I've already made one for mine, so they have it and we're using it for next week. And so it is broken up. You can kind of see it. Let me see if I can try to
Hold
share
on,
my screen.
let's see. Stephen, are you on your phone?
I'm on my laptop. I brought it to Carla.
And do you have it on your laptop?
Yes.
Let me get to a point where I can just have you share your screen.
Okay. Because I brought it up. Thank you, Tammy.
Sorry, I'm trying to
Just to kind of show. It's Tammy's pictures that she sent us.
Yeah.
There's a share button at the bottom of mine. I don't know if I have to do any permissions for it, but.
Yep. Okay. So I just did it. So go ahead and share your screen.
I'm gonna go share. Haha. Okay. Can you see that? Okay. Perfect. So this is what Tammy had sent us, and so you can kind of see the day is broken apart between your morning shift and your PM shift. And it has the 9:30 to 10:30 slot. There's the A and B if you were to have two different groups going on. I know some of you are doing the two groups and some of you aren't. But if you're doing the two, then you would have in the sticky note that activity that they're going to be doing. I had told myself to put down their name on who's doing it. That way we know who's leading it when we're doing the planning sheets and we're putting it into the schedule. We're going to start including who is planning that. And then going through.
Steven?
Yep.
Just real quick, one thing about the sticky notes, the color of the sticky notes determines whether it's like an activity or a craft or a, you know, the category of the activity is what the color of the note is.
Got it. Cool. So, I mean, you can do that with your sticky notes. We didn't do that just because we didn't have all the same colors or different colors. But I mean, if you want to write on there, if you don't have the colors or if you want to do the color coding, that's great. But go ahead and create this lovely little display to put in your sticky notes. That way it just makes planning easy. Since we aren't all together, it's harder for us to kind of meet and do that planning face to face. Now to piggyback on that, and I don't need to keep sharing. I mean, I can stop sharing. But anyways, to piggyback off of that, there will be times where we will set up a Zoom planning meeting, which will take the place of your on-site planning. And so we'll do that probably bi-weekly. If weekly is good, then maybe we'll do it weekly. But we'll have a time that your coordinator will probably set up so that you all can meet face-to-face. It may be after programming or a time when you all can hop on within your morning shift or your PM shift, and you will kind of do a planning meeting. So you'll be able to kind of brainstorm and talk and have conversations with each other, and also to allow a little bit of team building going on, because I know it's been hard to do that since we haven't been all together, and we want to try and keep the team building together. I know there was a feedback that there was a staff that was missing out on that team building piece because they don't really get to interact with the AM staff or the PM staff and vice versa. So we're going to try and incorporate those weekly or bi-weekly planning / team building meetings.
Can I add one more? Can I add one thing to that, Stephen?
Yep.
Oh, one thing that helped us is that we divided up the calendar by themed weeks. So each week has a framework, a theme. Like next week is Family and Community Week, so all the activities are within that. And then Gilbert and I just basically polled our individual crews for ideas that fall within that category. And that's how we weeded those out and then determined where they belong on the poster that you have there. It worked out pretty well.
Cool. Fantastic. So kind of to piggyback on what Alan had said, we'll also have a bi-weekly peer training. It's another meeting / training. It'll happen on the off weeks. And so those will be times where you can share successful ideas or lead different ideas or strategies that you've been using at your site. And it's led by peers. So it may be a lead, it may be a staff. So for example, I have Caitlin here. She'll be on later. She does a really fantastic job with tracking the homework for our kids. And so she was going to, my hopes is in the future, make up a little training or a how-to on how she kind of creates schedules for the kiddos or a checklist for their homework. She sends out emails to the parents and she creates a mini lesson plan for the kiddo for each day. You don't have to do it, but it's been super helpful in managing the homework. I know this time is kind of rough and hard to keep track of all of it because some teachers use different platforms or different ways to show what their kid has to do. And so she kind of streamlines it a little bit and it just creates a nice little easy check. This kid's done with their homework for the day and it's good. So if there's any other things that have been working for you, then as we get further or get closer to that, we'll tell you how it's going to be structured. And if you have ideas, things that you want to train on or speak on, then of course let us know so that we can approve or say what you need to do for it.
So Stephen,
yep.
Sorry, really quickly, and I hate to interrupt.
You're good.
For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of compile all of the stuff that we are talking about in an email. I'm sure that all of you guys have figured out my mode of communication is that lovely email. So I'm sure that you guys are tired of seeing my name come up there, but there's a lot of stuff that usually comes out in that. So we'll talk about the ordering. We'll talk about the opportunities to be able to train if you have some kind of an expertise or an idea of things that you would like to train on. I will be putting out a form for that so that you guys can fill that out. So all of the stuff that we were kind of talking about, the Colorado Math Contest stuff, I'm going to put all of that into one email so that you guys can get it all in one.
Perfect. So there's that. Then there were some items that were asked on if we can get, and there are some no's. So there was some mention on pay increases or hour increases. And so those are no's. You will have the 35 hours of time allotted to you. If you're a cleaner, that is capped, unfortunately, unless you are leading like a training, and you'll put that in the email that Melissa sends out. If you are a childcare staff, then you can go above that with your planning, and that's the 2 hours of planning. And that's the only way you can get above the 35 hours, but you need to make sure that you're clocking in for that, because if you don't clock in, then unfortunately the 35 hours is all you will get. So please be aware of that, and please be taking the initiative to clock in and make sure you're doing that and letting your coordinator know that you are clocking in outside of program time. And please don't plan during program. We need you to be with the kids doing your activities.
Right.
Then,
if I can chime in really quick, like Stephen says, yes, you need to clock in and out for your planning time. You have up to 2 hours of planning. So just don't think that, oh, I got 2 hours of planning, so I just automatically get it. Just make sure that you're clocking in and out for that and letting your coordinator know when you are doing that. Okay.
Cool. Also, to go with your planning, it's great that you are clocking in if you are doing so and clocking out, but please, 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 please make sure you have planning sheets. That's kind of our way to double check and confirm and verify that you are in fact planning. May have conversations if there is planning going on and no planning sheets to show that you have planned. That may be just some conversations with the coordinator and then with Janine as well. So please make sure you're having planning sheets for the times that you are planning and for the activities that you are planning. And pay raises or hazard pay, that is also a no. There was a town hall meeting that we have video to link to. You can watch and see. The mayor gives a direct response on that. There will be no pay increases. So that kind of answers that. Are there any questions or anything that I may have left out? No? Okay. Then that is all I had for the feedback.
Perfect. And then just so you guys know, I mean, so that there is an understanding, you know, we would love to, you know, offer you guys a bonus or hazard pay or whatever the case may be. I think everyone just kind of needs to have this understanding and the realization that we are part of the government. And so unfortunately, it's not just something that they can willy-nilly just put out there. Our paychecks basically come from the citizens, and so we can't just all of a sudden give extra money just because people are working these shifts. The citizens of Denver would probably have a little bit of a fit. So I think just having that understanding that, you know, we do realize that like King Soopers and Walmart are giving out bonuses to people that are working, and we would love to do that, but it's just not something that we can physically and like actually do because we are city government.
Actually, one last thing that I did want to touch base on too. I haven't seen a lot, but when we were talking about the hours of 35 and then the planning above and beyond that, as far as trainings are concerned, online trainings, they need to be pre-approved before people get on to like Workday and start taking tons of trainings. So those things need to be pre-approved before you jump on, because our EOC, which is the Emergency Operations Center, there's a whole group of people that have been kind of directing everything that we're doing right now. And we have been given those hours, and we need to stay within those hours. So if people are thinking, oh, I'll just go take some trainings, you know, to get caught up, we're not allowed at this point in time to do any kind of trainings unless we're doing stuff kind of like this right now, because this is directly towards the program that we're running, and it's within our hours. But if you're going on to take all kinds of trainings just because you want to get caught up, really would love to say yes to that, because then everybody would be up to snuff, but we can't right now. And there's a whole bunch of other staff that aren't working at all right now that we had to, we didn't let them go. They're still in positions, but they're basically on unemployment if they applied and things like that, and they can't do anything at all. So we just need to make sure that we're staying within what we're allotted to do. As Melissa said, because we are government, we need to follow those guidelines. So I just wanted to put that one out there too, because I have been seeing some people that are, because every time you log on for Workday, I get an email. So when things are going ching, 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 and I'm just like, whoa, hey now. So let's please talk with your coordinator before you do anything like that to get pre-approval on what that needs to be. Okay, thank you.
All right, with that being said, does anybody have any questions of anything that we've gone over today? Any other things that you guys may need from us? I mean, we've kind of gone over some things. We've asked for some feedback and tried to give some we answered the feedback that you guys gave us, but is there anything that you guys need from leadership at this point? Okay. So then we are going to end and do a little bit of a closing thing. So I'm going to kind of task a couple of things at this point in time. We are going to go through everyone and kind of end our training today with, I'd like to know 3 positives and 1 negative that has come from maybe this pandemic or the time that we've kind of started this process in the last 5 weeks. And then in that same thing, while you are waiting and kind of listening to everybody else, I'd like everybody to put in to the chat one thing that they are going to do differently moving forward. And we are going to kind of, we are going to put those together so that you guys as teams can see that, so that you guys can hold each other accountable. So three positives, 1 negative that have come from this pandemic, and what are you going to do differently moving forward in the chat? Because I'm gonna go in order on my screen, Tiffany and Terrence, you guys are up.
Totally ready. 3 positive things, like overall or just with program?
Just in general. I mean, it could be program, it could be overall, it could be just anything that you want to just say that has been a positive for you, 3 positives for you, and then, you know, anything that if you want to vent of a negative thing.
Okay, 1 positive is I'm connecting more with my friends back home and with my family, because I don't ever talk to them, but I'm connecting more with those people that I don't see. We have been doing a driveway happy hour with our neighbors, which is awesome. And I think the other positive is the 8 o'clock howling, because it just really shows that people are trying to come together even though they can't. Sorry, dog.
On demand.
And I would say one negative for me is that this is completely off of my routine. Been doing the same exact stuff for 6 years, and now it just threw me off. Like, I'm so out of routine. It sucks. So I'm trying to get back into a routine now that I know that it's going to be another month and we've got a schedule for a month. So I'm trying to just get back into a routine. So that would be mine. Your turn.
Positives would be we're cooking every single day. So that's been kind of fun just to get back into that. I got all of like housework stuff done that I've been dying to get done. The house has never been this clean and organized for this length of time, so that's nice. And I'll do like a fun kind of negative. I thought I was going to be saving money, but I'm actually spending more money on beer.
Go figure.
And
thank you for sharing. Putting you back on mute. All right, Kenzie, you're up.
So something positive, or a few things positive. I haven't been spending as much money. Normally, like when I'm bored, I go out shopping. So I've been saving a lot of money. Another positive thing, I've met a lot of people transitioning jobs. So it's really cool to see some new faces, especially at Johnson, make some more connections. Another positive thing, I've become more crafty at home. So finding like new ways to entertain myself. A negative thing is I think that doing online classes for my school is kind of way harder than being in class. I like having class where I can like interact with the students, and it's really, really hard to try and do a group project on Messenger. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Steven, you're up.
Okay, so my 3 positives. First one is being able to work with different faces, new faces, and having to oversee a new team or new crew is nice. You just see different techniques, see how different people do different things, and kind of learn from them actually. and then be able to provide feedback. It's also given me a chance to learn how to kind of coach and lead a little bit better, because I haven't had a lot of chance prior to. So this is kind of I won't say a crash course, but a mini course, and stepping up my skills on that. That was kind of like 1.5. Second thing is I've had some more time at the house to kind of get things in gear there, work on my own little projects, personal projects there with my crafting, and so that's been nice. And then third positive, well, today I got my bikes running and my dad's bike running, and so that was kind of a little sentimental moment. Got to appreciate that a little bit, so I'll take it out over the weekend. And then I'd say my negative would just be the sleep schedule has been all over the dang place. Yeah. That'd be about it.
Agree with that. Thank you. Alan, you're up on my screen.
Okay, let's see. First of all, I'm right there with parents. I think we dusted our whole house for the first time since 2007, so I felt pretty good about that. The other thing is, I'm glad to see we're in an era now where a lot of the kind of faceless people are finally getting some appreciation. Whether it's a person who's the Amazon driver or people like my wife, who's the healthcare provider, are finally starting to get their due, and I hope that sticks. When we get back to normal, I hope people still see that. The other thing is, the other good thing, traffic is great early in the morning. If I was working this shift, working where I work and living where I live, traffic, it would take me an hour to get to work, and now I can do it in about 20 minutes. And the other thing is the negative thing. For the last 15 years before I retired from CenturyLink, I was getting up at 3:40 in the morning to get to work. And, I didn't even think about it. It was just routine. And now, 4 years later, I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I am having a hell of a time getting used to it. It's like I'm totally out of practice with getting up early and getting out of the house. So I got to get my sea legs back, I guess. That's about it.
Thank you for sharing. Joseph, you are up.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Good. My three positives, it would be spending more time. Right now, we have so much time on our hands, so I'm able to spend a lot more time with my wife because she's working from home, and my baby son as well. So it's good to be with them, because normally we're working. My son is at childcare. So another positive would be cooking a lot of healthy meals. I already like to eat healthy and stuff, but I have a little more time to cook healthy. I actually got some sweet potatoes in the oven right now. A third positive would be let's see. I do like the way the traffic is right now. Being able to commute and go from point A to point B, and that's been pretty awesome. And also remote learning, connecting with my kids through DPS. So that's been pretty awesome as well. A negative would be with the time on my hands. I like to play some kind of video game. Sometimes I go overboard. My wife doesn't like that. So that's the only negative with that.
Thank you for sharing. Michaela, you are up.
Julio. What my first positive is I've been able to leave my house. I love driving my car, so having to drive to work every other day, that's pretty great. And then like a by myself solitude moment of like singing on the highway, totally amazing. I've been able to work out with my family more, which is pretty exciting. I think we do it every day. Don't know how I still have the motivation to do it every day, but that's a whole nother thing. My third positive is I had an amazing 18th birthday party. Even in quarantine, I had a lot of people come support me, which was really amazing, and it made something that I didn't think that was going to go over too well absolutely absolutely amazing. I guess my one negative is my graduation has been officially postponed, so it kind of makes it hard to keep my motivation to do my schoolwork for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you for sharing. Juanita, you're up on my screen.
Okay, so my positives are that I've been able to speak with the parents that we're putting these kiddos in programs for, and I'm able to tell them how awesome our teams are that we have at all the locations. So that makes me really happy because I know how hard you all work. So it's kind of nice seeing your faces today and being able to tell you how much I appreciate you and how grateful I am to be able to tell our parents that their kids are going to a safe place. My other thing is that I've been cooking with my youngest son, so he's learning how to cook. My oldest son started learning at 10, and since I'm usually at work and I work later, I haven't been able to really cook with my son. I usually just get home and I'm like, you do whatever, I need to cook, and now we're cooking together. And the other thing that I'm grateful for is that both of my boys, we are able to do puzzles together. We go outside and play baseball. Well, I watch them play and walk because otherwise I'd hit them in the head with one. I'm not much of a throw. And then my negative is that I haven't been able to sleep. So that's hard as far as concentration and just everything.
Sharing. Janine, you are up on my screen.
Okay, so 3 positives. I guess what I can say is that my work family and my personal family are all safe, and that just makes my heart feel good because with all the things going on, just and you know everything that's going on, it's just good to know that everybody's staying healthy, which makes me very, very happy. I love flowers, and flowers are starting to bloom and that type of thing. My orchid in my office, because I have to come check on the office once a day, is blooming. So I come into my office and I'm like, because that thing like blooms once every, it seems like 3 years. So that's very exciting. Let's see here. I am getting more walking in than I have been in the past. So I'm getting those steps in. So that makes me happy. My challenge is that working at home and things like that, my work schedule I'm struggling with because I don't seem to have that regular shift and then go home and then not work anymore. My work seems to take it from early in the morning all the way to late at night, and it doesn't really stop. And I'll have one more that tacks onto that. Me learning technology, God help us all. There's that. Still struggling with that. Thank God Melissa knows how to do all this stuff. So there's my challenge.
Thank you. Danielle, you're up on my screen.
All right. Some positives. I'm laughing a lot more now. Another positive, I've had a chance to just be reminded as to why I do what I do. That's been good. Another positive, just being able to really just dive into my belief system right now, my faith, and really have just been plugged in and having a lot of opportunities in the virtual world to engage in a lot of different ways has been a positive. And for me, to say that there's a negative, there's not, because in the long run, all negatives are positive. They work out. And for me, it's about have had a chance to reevaluate, restart, and relaunch my life. And I really, during this time of just owning my time, it's great. So that's mine.
Thanks so very much. And then Beth, you are up.
Let's see.
Just getting reassurance that I have work. I am very grateful to have work, especially in this challenging time and from previous times experience. So I'm very grateful to have work, and thankful for Denver Parks and Rec that this is an opportunity for me. I'm thankful that my mom found out from her doctor even though she's older, she's at low risk for getting this virus. So that makes my brothers and myself feel more comfortable because we lost my dad back in November. And then just grateful for family and friends and reconnecting with all of my friends and building some new relationships with this work opportunity and networking with people that I haven't worked with before, and establishing new foundations with people and, meeting people, and that networking piece, and being grateful for the work environment that we have. And then just getting out, walking more, running, getting back into running again. I'm looking at trying to ride my bike to work. A friend at work said he could probably help me fix it, so that's great. And cooking a lot more. I love to cook. I'd love to bring something to work for everybody, if that'd be okay. And just eating more nutritiously and stuff like that. So things for that I want improvement or challenges. The sleep has been kind of hard. I can agree with that. Tag team on all of that with other people. And just that schedule, just trying to break the monotony has been a challenge because you go to work, go home, and just trying to continue to be hopeful for our future, because we can get despondent very quickly. So that's about all.
I'm going to read Tammy's. So they lost power at Central, and the emergency metal window coverings came down because the power went out. So she said it's kind of scary over there at this point, so she can't get back on. So I'm going to read her 3 positives. She said baking, meeting new staff, and building relationships with the kids. And then her negatives right now are just the unable to soothe kids when they are sad. So those are her 3 versus 1s. And then I will end on this, and then we'll kind of go through some of the comments on the side, and then we'll kind of finish up here. So I think my 3 positives, are that I've had a lot more opportunity to spend time with my family. I think this is probably the most time that I've gotten to spend with my family in probably 17 years. I am a workaholic and have went straight from doing that to putting it into my family. So they also are workaholics. So I'm starting to realize now why I have a mortgage. At one point in time, I used to wonder why I would pay my mortgage and why I just didn't live in a 1-bedroom apartment and we would just rotate the bedroom. So I've been kind of thankful for that. We were able to put up a screen and a projector, and we did a movie outside the other night and kind of just enjoyed some family time doing that. And then being able to kind of cook. I know this is something that I told the rest of my team at one point in time, but we've gotten into a point where during dinner time, everybody meets in the kitchen and we cook together. So that has been pretty awesome. So just in general, I've just enjoyed kind of like Danielle, kind of figuring out how to own my time again. I think the one negative at this point in time is that I feel like I'm always on at this point, trying to make sure that everything is being taken care of, or, and that's with family, that's with work, that's with my mom. And so I think I am trying to kind of balance that out, like Janine, trying to figure out kind of where my time begins versus where it ends. And I still haven't figured that out yet. So it's still a process. So there is that. I do appreciate everybody sharing. I know that it's not always easy to put yourself onto the screen and kind of giving some of that, but I know that a lot of times we get into a point where we can kind of talk about the negatives, or we can get into this, like, here is just straight, facts, and, we don't check in with each other. So it's good to hear from everybody that there are still positives out there that, you know, if we can reevaluate and really see all of the good that really is happening even in this crazy time, that it's good to have. So you know, I don't know if you guys can all see the chat, but it's kind of cool to kind of see what everybody is planning on doing kind of moving forward. And you know, like I know Tammy said that she's gonna just celebrate moments of joy. Alan said that he's gonna try to get some more people to turn in planning sheets during the morning. Danielle said that, you know, she's gonna seek out more ways to help others. Michaela just said that she wants to try to find some more creative ways to remind kids about the 6 feet. Kenzie said that she's going to make schoolwork a little bit more enjoyable so that they can stay engaged. Steven said that he's just going to commit to doing some moving forward, new ways to keep kids active and engaged without repeating the same things. Beth said she wants to start riding her bike to work, so we heard that. Terrence and I would assume Tiffany both said that they're going to try to find new ways to connect more with the kids. Joseph said that he is going to provide activities for remote learning for the parents of many of the students, which is a good idea as well. Juanita said that she's going to kind of create a new workspace for herself today so that she can stand and move more. So I think, you know, just like I want everybody to kind of hear and see that, you know, we're all out here doing the same thing, going through kind of some of the same struggles, maybe enjoying some of the same joys, but that we are all in this together. And so hopefully, like Stephen had said, we're going to get some things together so that every other week, or maybe it'll be once a week, that would kind of include the planning times that we would do, and that would help some people to join in to some different things during the weeks that do not have that opportunity to have the planning time, some different ways to kind of connect. And so I will be sending out that email in regards to, you know, the mask stuff and the order dates. I will also attach the list that Stephen had talked about for what we have at Community Direct that we can kind of order off of right now. And then give some opportunities for some people that if they want to provide a training, that they could definitely do that via virtually. And so we'll just kind of have to go through some of that, and I will put in some of the requirements or some of the things that we would need for that. So if there's nothing else that anybody needs or needs to say, I do appreciate everybody joining us today and sharing out. Janine, do you have anything else that you want to say?
I have,
Okay.
go ahead.
No, Alan, go ahead.
I just got a text from Tammy. I asked her if everything was okay at Central with the power outage. And she said the general lights came on, the alarms are going off, and the kids are not even fed. So good to know.
Thanks for checking in with her.
Yeah, I got a text too. She said Ben was working on it. So basically what I wanted to say to all of you guys is I just want to thank you so much for doing what you're doing right now, and for these essential workers and things like that, and childcare, and I know that there's risks out there and it's uncertain times and things like that, and you guys are taking you're moving forward with this. You're making the days enjoyable for kids. We've been hearing from parents, you know, about how much their kids enjoy the programs and all of you, and they're so thankful for all of you doing all the programming. And, you know, it's not just programming, but, you know, like Juanita, she's doing all of the registration. She's like on call 24/7 with that silly phone, you know, with all the text messages and things like that. The coordinator supporting and doing what they need to do. And it's just, everybody's just really taken on, you know, moving forward with this and making this a successful thing. And I just really want to say I really, really appreciate all of you and what you're doing and everything that you are putting into this. And I just wanted to say that to all of you. So a big heartfelt thank you. And I'm here for anybody if you need to talk or that type of thing. So please know that I'm available. But just know that you're appreciated, and it's not just by me, it's you're appreciated by many. And just please know that when things are challenging and hard to see. So
Hopefully we will see you guys here in the next week or so with some different opportunities for you guys. Have a good weekend.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.